How about connecting with the joy of being on your edge, of being strong, of facing your challenges and fears, of not avoiding them, of not running away, of not procrastinating on them? This is huge. There's a huge joy. There's a sense of power you get when you execute consistently and you're on your edge and you're facing challenges and fears and you're doing it on a regular basis. And even if sometimes you fail at those challenges, still, you don't give up. And that gives you joy too. The joy of perseverance in the face of failure. See, most of you who are depressed and nihilistic and disillusioned with life, you're the opposite of this. You get a little bit of challenge, you get a little bit of failure, and immediately you go into this catastrophizing negative thinking about, oh, it's not going to work, and I failed, and oh my God, what am I going to do? And all this is bullshit. It's all this advice is it doesn't work. You need to be the exact opposite of that. See, you get challenged, you face your fears, you fail, and then you get even more excited. Because now it's like, I failed. That means there's a learning lesson here for me that I could improve upon. What books can I go read? What coaches can I go hire? Who can I talk to? What advice can I get that will help me to face this particular challenge and overcome it and to learn the lesson I need to learn to be good at this challenge for the rest of my life, to extinguish this fear forever? See? This is the attitude of a winner versus a loser. How about connecting with the joy of difficult trips? By which I mean your psychedelic excursions. You know, a lot of people are like, well, Leo, am I going to have a bad trip here or on this chemical or on that chemical or on this dose or on that dose? It's like, the bigger question is, why are you avoiding these difficult trips? Why can't you be strong enough to handle a difficult trip? Why can't you even learn to enjoy difficult trips? Because after all, what is a difficult trip? When you're tripping, you're just exploring consciousness. You're exploring your own mind. Now, of course, some trips can be so difficult they can traumatize you, so you don't want to go that far. But you know, a difficult trip just on the edge of traumatizing you, but not totally, you know, shattering your mind and your ego. Again, if you're living on your edge, and you have high self-efficacy, you've been building up momentum, you've been executing, then like lately I've been almost like enjoying difficult trips, like wanting to challenge myself with difficult trips just to see how deep can I go with consciousness? What can I handle? What am I really made? What's my full potential? And that gives me a kind of joy, a sort of a high level joy that most people are missing out on. So these days, when I go into a trip, I can go into it with like a lot of excitement, which is not to say I don't respect the power of these chemicals. I respect it very much. And lately, I've had a really difficult trip, one of my most difficult trips ever. But also, one of the ones that grew me the most. And when I came back from that trip, I'm like, I feel like juiced up. I feel like I'm on, I feel like I'm more powerful than ever. When you go through challenges like that, you're more powerful than ever. And see, one of the keys to life is to take on deliberate challenges. Because here's the thing you have to understand is that life will challenge you no matter what. Life is fucking difficult. And life gets really fucking difficult. You know when life gets the most difficult is when you don't have the intrinsic motivation anymore to get out of bed in the morning. That's when life becomes actually the most difficult. As long as you have your heart, your soul, your spirit, as long as you're motivated intrinsically, when you're following your values and you're doing things that are meaningful to you in life, that you really care about, and you're connected with life, you're connected with its beauty and its majesty, then the difficulty will still be there. You will still face some really hard knocks. But you will have the inner resources, the morale to deal with them. But when you lose your morale and you get depressed and you go into learned helplessness and you become a victim and a complainer, and a loser, really nothing can go well in your life. You can't feel good about your life in that situation. That's an inner game problem that needs to be fixed. So whether you undertake challenge or you don't, you're going to be challenged. But when you undertake challenge consciously, the challenge is meaningful for you. Whereas when the challenge is not something you consciously choose, but it is foisted upon you just by external circumstances, then you're not going to be really motivated to deal with the challenge, and you're just going to be kind of like avoiding the challenge, and you're going to be begrudging the challenge. The challenge will come your way, and you're going to be like, oh, why did God put this challenge in front of me? And you're going to feel resentful about it. Whereas if you undertake a challenge consciously, like you wake up tomorrow morning and say, you know what? I'm going to run a mile today. I'm going to run a mile in 10 minutes. That's a challenge I set for myself. Now, is there any reason I have to? No. Am I going to die if I don't do it? No. Am I going to lose my job if I don't do it? No. Am I going to look really awesome and ripped if I do it? No. Am I going to lose 10 pounds? No. So why would I do it? Well, fundamentally, because what else is there to do in life? What is there to do? Why are you here? Are you here just to stay alive physically? If that's all you're here for, then like you've set the bar so low that you see you can't get inspired by anything. And when you're not inspired, you're literally disconnected from the spirit of life. And then, yeah, by definition, you're depressed. Everything is meaningless to you. Because guess what? Survival is meaningless. If all you're doing is you're just putting in empty calories into your body to keep it going for one day, and then you repeat that the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and that's all you're doing your whole life, then yeah, and then where does that end? It ends in your death, and then eventually all of that was, you asked the question like on your deathbed, well, what was it all about? Why did I eat all this empty calories? Well, just to get to the point where I'm dead? Well, that was kind of pointless. Yeah, exactly. So, but then you're like, well, what's the point of life? Well, Leo, so is the point of life to build something up, to like build up $1 billion? But then on my deathbed, I could wonder like, well, but if I have $1 billion in my bank account and I can't take it with me, I'm going to die and I can't use it all, then that was pointless too. Yes, exactly. But then you're like, well, so then Leo, everything is pointless. So then I should do nothing. No, that's wrong. What isn't pointless is to construct your own point by setting challenges for yourself and being creative and using that creativity to connect with the beauty of consciousness in the present moment. That kind of conscious living is meaningful. And it has a point. It is its own point. It's not something you do to get some reward in the afterlife. It is its own reward. When you're doing art for art's sake, the joy the art gives you and the connection, the spiritual connection it creates between you and reality is such that you don't even need to sell the art. The selling of it is irrelevant. You've already got your reward by doing it. It doesn't even matter if anybody buys it or not at that point. At that point, the only purpose of selling it would be either one, to share the beauty with others, which could be meaningful to you, of course, as well, or to get enough money back from it, resources back from it, such that you could funnel that back in so you could keep doing your art the next day, pay your electric bill and so forth. So you're going to be challenged either way. It would be a lot better if you chose your challenges rather than having them choose you. So the secret to fulfilling life is choose challenges that are aligned with your top values, that are going to create for meaningful challenges, that you accept willingly. See, there's a difference. Understand there's a difference between like walking down a dark alley at night and getting mugged by some hoodlums and getting into a street fight with them. You didn't choose that, right? You were just walking. You didn't want to fight, and they just kind of like sucker punched you from behind in a dark alley. That doesn't feel so good. That's not fulfilling. You're just surviving there, like an animal in that situation. Versus, for example, telling yourself, you know what? I'm going to become the world's best martial artist or boxer. And I'm going to enter a boxing ring. Now, do I have to enter a boxing ring? No. Am I going to die if I don't enter a boxing ring? No. Is it even going to make me like rich to enter a boxing ring? Maybe it won't. You know, most boxers aren't very rich. But I'm gonna choose that kind of life anyway. I'm gonna challenge myself to be the best boxer I can be. And you do that, and as you do that, you enter the ring deliberately. You don't have to, but you do it. You're doing it consciously, right? And when you're boxing in the ring consciously of your own choice, no one's holding a gun to your head, forcing you to be there. That's when you can fall in love with boxing as an art.